All right. Welcome to the We Is Smart podcast. I am B-Dub along with Tommy K and Dr. Lib.
Howdy.
Before we go anywhere, don't forget to subscribe to the We Is Smart podcast right here on YouTube and hopefully other places as well. I'm in the process of putting us out there as we are going into our 25th episode. We made 25 episodes, guys. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Wow.
But yes,
we'd appreciate too if other than just subscribing that they would, listen.
Well, yeah, that too. That also helps. But also follow us across social media for more music debates, rankings, games, and pop culture conversations. So, how's everybody doing? Yes, Tommy K has a question.
Now I forgot.
You forgot your question.
It was about the intro.
Why am I holding this piece of paper up?
Oh, well. Moving on.
Moving on.
I have no idea.
You have no idea. Well, I hope you have a little idea of what we're going to be talking about, as our topic is where band names came, where bands got their names. So, have you ever wondered where your favorite band's name came from? Well, we're going to help you with some of those today.
Could you imagine if your favorite band was the Guess Who? Guess where that came from?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
What's your band name? Oh, Guess Who? So if you started a band today, what would you call it? Do you have any band names in mind? And don't all answer.
I know you jumped. I know, but we weren't. You should have warned us in advance.
Right.
Well, but see, that's why I'm throwing the question out there, not only to you guys, but to our listeners or our watchers as well.
The band.
If they started a band today, what would they call it? The band? Well, there is actually a band called The Band. So,
yeah.
But actually,
I got one for us. The We Is Smart.
You took it right in my mouth. I call it the We Is Smart Band. So
playing the dopey drums.
So
Gary, you play bass, don't you? Still?
I still have the bass, but obviously, I just played it there at the well, so I'm probably gonna sell it. But yeah, I still have it.
Cool. I still got the kit down in the basement.
I would like to get a kit. That's one instrument I always want to learn how to play. What's that?
Your dogs might not like that.
No, my dogs probably wouldn't. But see, I and I know this sounds. I know people are going to be like, "Why would you want to buy one of those?" I would want to get one of the newer style, like electric, drum kits where you're still hitting them, but they don't make the noise.
Like the pads.
Like the pads that go through, So getting one of those, that way it wouldn't really bother anybody.
So how do they do the bass on those?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly. I saw one when Brittany was taking guitar lessons last year. Somebody was teaching drums, so I'm not sure how. I think one of the pads is a bass drum. I think they just have all of them kind of stretched out. Like however it is, and then your cymbals are up here and stuff. So.
I'm just curious, not to take away or whatever, but how did that start, with the drum kits on the pads or whatever? I'm curious, because Rick Allen from Def Leppard, when he lost his arm but he didn't stop. He went on to continue drumming. He reestablished how, what a talent.
Yeah, he learned how to do it one hand.
Yeah, he had to adjust to it.
Yeah, and so I'm curious if that kind of how it started or whatever, as far as being able to.
I would think that
I don't know.
I would think that the regular drum set would have been easier for him to learn on, because all you have to use is your hands on them pads, right? Your stick.
No, you use sticks.
But that's it.
And the foot pedals.
He's got one hand and 2 legs. That's what I'm saying. If he's on a regular kit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well,
I'm just curious.
The way he had to do, he had to use his feet pretty much to play, drums, since he.
Yeah.
So to get probably the snare and maybe even the Tom, he probably used his
Yes.
his other hand, but then like the other stuff. So, but yeah,
that would be such an interesting conversation.
that would
If ever, I don't know if he talks about it a whole lot. Who knows? But it would just be interesting.
Automobile accident or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
But anyways,
I don't mean to squirrel chipmunk or whatever, but like Neil. Okay, I've always said Neil Peart, and then I've heard people say Neil
Peart.
And then I saw a documentary or whatever, and Geddy Lee pronounced it how you just said it, B-Dub. I'm like, I didn't know. But anyway,
Canadian accent.
Yeah.
Hey,
but
it's Canadian.
Oh, that hurt. But I would have loved to just sit down and talk with Neil. He's such an intriguing person. Et cetera, et cetera. But to my knowledge, he was so timid, shy, whatever. He did not want to do the meet and greets at concerts. They said, Getty even said, him and Alex would do the meet and greets, and Neil would be in the, dressing room or whatever before and after the show, kind of thing. And so it's just interesting, if ever, kind of thing.
I think it would be hard to do meet and greets before a show because you're trying to
get prepared,
psych yourself up and get prepared to do a 2-hour long show. Depending on what you are.
I think that totally depends on your personality.
Yeah,
I think there's probably people that they would probably get juice out of doing that before the show.
Yeah. Because if you're you want to meet the fans that love you, that follow you, that love to listen to all your music and stuff. So, but speaking of bands or artists, wherever you go to, let's go into some of the how these bands actually got their names. So I'm going to pass the baton to one of you guys and let you guys start with a few on your end. So whoever wants to go first.
I nominate Tommy K.
You nominate Tommy K.
All in favor? Aye.
Nay!
All
nay!
Oh, there's a horse over there. I heard it.
Where's the hay? Hey.
He wants some hay.
Okay, I will say this. I apologize if I don't. It's pretty much stuck with rock and roll or classics.
Well,
whatever.
We didn't put any limitations on it.
We didn't put a limitation on it.
So I'm just saying on my end, because classic rock is my favorite format.
Yeah, and that's fine.
But starting off, I guess, kind of simple, if you will, or easy. I thought it was so interesting did they come out in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, maybe? 7 Mary 3.
Mm-hmm.
Their name originated from the TV sitcom, no, it wasn't a sitcom.
It was like a drama.
TV show.
Mary?
Adam 12.
Oh.
Yeah. 7 Mary 3. It was the radio call on, for the patrol cars.
For the patrol cars.
Okay.
7 Mary 3.
Sense.
That's where they got the name. And I was like, how cool is that? So
that's pretty cool.
If I were to come up with a band name, it might go with that style, if you will.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. That's our band.
Yeah.
Gomer
Pyle.
I think we should call it Poovy. I wonder if anybody would get that these days.
Probably
Ladies and gentlemen, Poovy. We can have a hit song, Luann.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, so Van Halen, a great band. I mean, a great story behind them, or whatever. Did not know. Okay, when I was DJing, I referred to this book. It's the Encyclopedia of Rock.
Yeah.
And, so I look things up. If if I was going to talk about a band coming up, coming out of music, I would try to go to this research, and enlighten myself. And one time I remember looking up and I saw Van Halen. Their original name was Mammoth.
Yeah.
Which is, what, we're going prehistoric, or whatever.
Well, the weird thing to go on with your story a little bit is they actually had to change their name because there was a band named Mammoth already.
Yeah. So it's I guess that would be a big part of the process too, making sure nobody else has
a name.
I wonder if they, like, early before they became big or whatever, if they kind of didn't have the same lineup all the time, because it's just kind of interesting that they end up naming the last name of just two of the members.
That's a good point.
The brothers were and the reason why I knew this is because I listened to two different Van Halen not documentaries, autobiographies, and then Sammy Hagar's as well, which is if you haven't read it yet, I would check it out. But it was, the brothers were the biggest thing. I mean, they were, the reason why, with Eddie being so great on the guitar, I mean, in California, I mean, they were huge. Everyone knew about Eddie Van Halen. Alex, who's he was a great drummer, but he kind of was there because of Eddie. So it just was like, and they did go through members a few times before they finally got to that first lineup with
Anthony and David,
Anthony and Roth. I mean, it's.
I had heard that Alex and Eddie actually had switched. Eddie was good at drums. Alex was good at guitar, and then they switched, and that's how they ended up, which is kind of a unique. Could you imagine?
Yeah, and of course, everyone knows that. Well, not everybody knows, but when 1984 came out, you hear the keyboards that Eddie. Well, he was a trained pianist. I mean, he learned he got piano lessons when he was little. I mean, his parents made sure he did that, or his mom at least. So I mean, it kind of already got ingrained in him when it came to that. But he wanted to, when he became a teenager, he wanted to do something else, either play drums or guitar, and But it seems like everything he touched instrument-wise, he was good at.
Yeah, you say that's one of those words that always cracks me up. Boy, what do you do for? I'm a pianist. You pee a lot? What?
No, I didn't say pee.
What do you do if you're an organist?
You're an organ donor.
That's like the word caricature. I mean, you go to like Kings Island or amusement park, and they have people that will draw you in a funny situation.
Yes.
It's a caricature. And I always think I'm stuttering when I say caricature, or like I hiccup.
The fact that you can say it, just be happy you can say it, because give me to try to say that, no. We'll leave it at that.
And moving on.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know we've said this over the time or whatever, as far as one of my favorite bands is U2.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I had to look them up. An interesting story about U2 that I read in a book, and I think I've said this in a previous episode. Bono. His name is Paul Hewson. And I don't know exactly when, but he eventually changed over to Bono. But it's originated from this like appliance store in his hometown or something that was called Bono Vox. And so he, shortened it to take on Bono, which I thought was kind of cool story, behind that. Yeah. So anyway, in reading about U2, the name, to my understanding, I'm not saying for sure, but to my understanding is they named their band U2 in the concept of anybody can join in. You too can join in type mentality, if you will.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think that is cool. To like it like really helps to pull in your audience members, I guess.
Yeah. I guess the question, since you gave Bono's how he got his name, how did The Edge get his name?
That I do not know. Do you?
I don't know. That's why I was asking.
Oh, sorry. I'll
oh no, yeah,
that
that's
right
fine.
away. You know what? Speaking of, I'm surprised, B-Dub, that as I'm talking, you're not like Googling it already.
You know what? I have enough screens on this side open as it is. I'm not going to open any.
Another name, Conway Twitty.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of interesting. I have to put my readers on so I can read from the book better.
Yeah.
He was born Harold Lloyd Jenkins.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Harold was his original name or whatever. He was a former rock and roll singer. Did you know that? I didn't know that, and it was like, wow. And then he eventually turned country performer. Went on to do a successful career.
Oh yeah, he did.
Well known and all that. Another band, The Tubes. I'm a big fan. I shouldn't say big. I enjoy The Tubes. They have an album called White Punks on Dope.
Well, wait a minute. Hang on. How did Conway Twitty get his name then? Or did you have that?
I didn't have it. I just thought it was. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
You just thought it was interesting.
Wait a minute. You forgot to tell us.
He just thought it was interesting. His name was this, and then it turned to Conway Twitty.
Yeah, that is. I mean, a lot of acts do that, but okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And Gary, to be honest, I do apologize for that because sometimes and I'm researching out of a book, not computers or whatever.
Yeah.
You might not get the full story.
Yeah.
And that's where Paul Harvey comes into play.
Yeah,
the rest of this story.
And that's the thing. It's like when it comes to some of these band names, some of the stories you find are like full on articles, and other ones are like little blips, like a paragraph. So it's like it just depends on the resource sometimes. So, but anyways, continue on.
I don't know. I wrote down The Tubes. I was reading about it. I was like,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
It's all Dr. Lib's fault.
The Tubes were very Rocky Horror Picture Show type persona starting out, and then eventually they kind of dressed a more casual or more appropriate or whatever you want to call it, to enhance their career or whatever. Maybe that's
they did what pretty much they did what the record company told them to do.
Probably, which reminds me, seeing Peter Frampton in the 90s. His bandmates were all in the T-shirt and spandex, the big hair and all that, and to start the show, they're doing a musical interlude, and then Peter walked out on stage, and all he wore was blue jeans, a T-shirt, and his hair in a ponytail, and it was just like, I love that story because I remember so vividly. It's like, that just gave me the impression he just wanted to play music for his fans. Yeah. And I'm not saying the other bandmates were wrong or blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying how unique that was, that it was like he didn't care what he wore. He just wanted to play music. That's the impression I was taking from that. And then, of course, when he did Do You Feel Like We Do, on the mic had the tube or whatever they would put in his mouth that could do that effect. He started playing that song, and then when it gets to that point, the fans are going nuts, and he's like, what are you guys so cheery about? And then they're all, hooting and hollering, and he's pointing to the straw or whatever. And, oh, you mean this thing? What does this thing do? Let's try. And, just played up to the crowd. It was great.
Playing to the crowd is pretty much what he was doing.
Exactly. So, how you dress. Okay, we're not doing wardrobe. I'm sorry.
We're not doing live performances. This isn't. But it's a good story, though.
ABBA. Now, there's a popular. Were they considered folk or just pop type?
Probably pop disco.
I mean, they were in the 70s.
Yeah.
And all that. But their name is, I like this, kind of unique, is that the letter of each member, 4 members, and there's, Swedish band? Yeah. So I'm not even going to attempt.
No, I wouldn't.
But ABBA are taken from the first letter of all their names.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the first name, last
couples,
name.
Right?
Yeah, because it was 2 married couples.
Yeah. It is well, Bjorn. Bjorn Borg, BJORN is one of the members. Oh, Benny Anderson.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I chopped that one up completely. Bay City Rollers. Gary and I were talking about this one. I thought, and you were right, Gary. How the Bay City Rollers, of course, with their big hit Saturday Night. Yes. Hey. Well, anyway, that was great at the roller rink.
Yes.
But they had a map, and they just put their finger on, pointed, and it came to Bay City, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So they took on Bay City Rollers.
You have to wonder if the finger went somewhere else, what the name was.
Like Hell, Michigan.
Hell Rollers.
Wait a minute.
You see how this
like the little town close to where I live, Knock 'em Stiff.
Knock 'em Stick Rolls.
That probably wouldn't be on a world map.
No.
You just reminded me of, in a topic we're talking about, I'm just curious, how did the band come up with their name, Butthole Surfers?
They stuck their finger somewhere else.
TMI and TMI. Yeah.
Here's a classic one. I think this one's kind of Molly Hatchet. Big in the 70s, a Southern rock, like 38 Special and Leonard Skinner. Their name came from the story of back in the, 17th century, a resident of Salem, Missouri, known for chopping off lovers' heads. Molly Hatchet was her name. So I'm curious. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I like Molly Hatchet's music. I don't know extensively all their songs or whatever, but I'm curious. Do they have any love ballads?
Yeah, flirting with disaster.
Flirting with disaster. That's as close as a love ballad you're going to get.
I read that the woman that you're talking about was a Civil War era prostitute, and that she beheaded her clients.
It's almost like a praying mantis.
I don't know which one, but
That's how she got paid to do her job.
Maybe both heads.
Yes.
Yikes.
That was before
all right,
Bobbitt.
Now we're getting into Lorena Bobbitt era.
Exactly. That'd be a good name for a band.
It was Lorena Bobbitt before Lorena Bobbitt was even around.
Wait. Lorena Bobbitt bobblehead night.
Wow. All right.
One more, and I thought this one, and I know BW said you have stuff on it. Black Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
Very unique heavy metal band. I will say this, okay, in reading and researching, I guess, I looked on the computer, and their reason or whatever for their name, I was like, I've read something different in a book somewhere. So that's where I struggle with, which is right. The whole AI stuff throws me off. So I apologize in advance, the disclaimer, if you will. But anyway, I had read Black Sabbath when they first formed. They were known or took on the name the Polka Tulk Blues Band.
Yeah.
Polka. Can you imagine Black Sabbath doing polka? Sabbath bloody polka.
polka bloody.
Why am I the only one laughing? No.
You're wondering.
But I mean, if you really think about Ozzy Osbourne, and I mean, well before his biting the heads off of bats, etc. type stuff. But it's just interesting, why'd they cut? I guess that would be the unique thing is where'd they come up with the polka part?
Yes.
Who knows? But that's all I got.
Back in the 60s, it was probably actually maybe kind of popular.
Yeah, that's true. But that's basically all I have until I interrupt you guys.
What?
The Average White Band. I just saw it. That was another one where I had read where the members are like, we just like that name because it describes us. Average White Band. We're average.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So.
All right.
Anyway, I'll close the book.
Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, I got a document on my computer so I can read it easier. So I'm going to start off with it. The only same one that I had, like I said, with Tom was Molly Hatchet. I thought that was a really interesting story. But the first one I have was, as I told B-Dub, is I had a couple of bands that I actually wanted to there was at least 3 bands that I wanted to see what their story was. And but I found this list that had some that I really thought were interesting too. But anyway, the first one is Pearl Jam.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, now, Tom talked about, well, I've heard this story. Well, actually, band members could be telling different stories. They might forget how they actually got the name, or they might be doing it just to mess around with their fans or what have you. So you don't know how that comes out. But anyway, the Pearl Jam is one of the bands that had a number of different stories detailing the meaning of the name Pearl Jam. And the group's origins are from the ashes of another group called Mother Love Bone. And Pearl Jam was, Mother Love Bone.
Yeah.
And Pearl Jam were initially called Mookie Blaylock, as I think me and Brian was talking about earlier, which is actually the NBA basketball player. Eddie Vedder and the crew rebranded themselves after they signed a record deal with Epic Records, and at one point changing their name reference to Vedder's grandmother's first name, which is Pearl. And supposedly the jam comes from a hallucinogenic dip that she supposedly made that they apparently imbibed in. But later on, it was found out that the jam part actually comes from the band's propensity to have jam sessions. So that's how Pearl Jam got their name. Pearl's grandma's name.
I mean, that makes perfect sense.
Yes, it does.
Okay, I know the first part of your band's name is Pearl, but you should have a second name.
And see, once again, I'll bet both of them stories probably were made up by the band, and probably the hallucinogenic jam thing is probably, well, that would sound cool. So let's go with that for a while, and then they come out with what the actual name was, because maybe Grandma Pearl probably complained about it. I did not make that kind of jam, and you know it.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Pearl Jelly.
Yeah. Oh man. And then my second one is Foo Fighters with, of course, Dave Grohl, who was a member of Nirvana, which I believe B-Dub might have. The story about Nirvana. Well, after they broke up, huh?
I might have one somewhere.
Oh, I thought you said you did. I'm sorry.
I might have. I mean, I gave a lot of band names.
The Foo Fighters, I found this interesting, especially with some of the news these days. The moniker was in reference to an old World War II era slang terminology used by members of the military to describe unidentified flying objects. And I thought that was interesting because they have released a lot of the UFO files in from the U.S. government from years and years ago, just recently. But that's what in World War II, if they seen something in the air. They didn't know what it was. They called it a Foo Fighter.
If I may interject, there was a band called UFO.
Yeah, there was. You're right.
I wonder if they were formed in Area 51.
Oh.
Sorry. That
Maybe
is
they have a song
interesting.
called Area 51.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a band called Area 51, actually.
Blink 152. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Gary, I just have to say, I think that's, for lack of better terms, a unique story. Nirvana into Foo Fighters or whatever, because sadly, Kurt Cobain taking his life. I mean, they were a great band. I mean, they were like, I think they would be considered the pioneers of the.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that style?
Grunge, baby.
Grunge, yeah. I mean, they really brought it to the forefront, and then sadly that took place. But how awesome it is to hear Dave Grohl! What a musician! He played drums for Nirvana, and then for the Foo Fighters, lead guitars, lead vocalist, all that stuff. Was watching a video on YouTube or whatever where when Taylor Hawkins was still around, that they were in concert and they were playing with Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones. Taylor Hawkins sang the lead and Dave Grohl played drums with Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones. And I'm like, oh my gosh, could you imagine, to do that? And Taylor Hawkins actually has a good voice, So
well, he had his, outside of Foo Fighters, he had his own band. He had like a separate band, like a side project.
Yeah, I think you'll find out that a lot of the big bands and the bands that make a big success, that all their members are multi-talented as far as the instruments that they play and their ability to sing, and you find that a lot, I think, in professional musicians, and which is really cool.
Well, look at Bob on Therapy for the Mind. All he could play was a harmonica.
Yeah, he's multi-talented.
Yeah, but he could play different harmonicas.
Continuing on. One of my favorite bands, I just really, really, really like their sound, Steely Dan. And I always wondered how they got their name. And, of course, the two founding members, Walter Becker and Donald Fagen, the name was taken, who named him was taken from yet another uncompromising artist named William S. Burroughs. And you say, well, how does that relate to Steely Dan? It's William S. Burroughs. Well, Steely Dan was actually a name given to an adult sex toy in Burroughs' novel Naked Lunch. He wrote erotic novel. And I'll just leave it to your imaginations what a Steely Dan actually is. I don't think I want to know.
I'm just curious if Reelin' in the Years started out as Reelin' in the Evening.
Oh, well, I mean, I think they could have collaborated with Beach Boys and Good Vibrations.
Wow.
If that gives you a clue of what a Steely Dan was.
Yeah. One of them was a B-side.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. Fun.
How many batteries did that take?
4 AA.
Okay, so here we go. More Megadeth, another band that I really like a lot, and Dave Mustaine. I like his writing, his playing, his singing. He writes. If you listen to their songs, they have a lot of songs with social meanings. So that was one of the reasons why I like Metallica too. But I'm glad he went out and started a band himself. But anyway, Dave Mustaine had a lot of time to think about. He was thinking about that after he got released, we might say, from Metallica. while he was waiting and deciding on what to do with his career, and he knew he was probably going to start another band, he was reading a newspaper article that quoted then California Senator Alan Cranston. You might remember that man, you might not, don't really matter. But anyway, referencing a arsenal of Megadeth, which was another way to describe a large-scale demise of 1 million people. Mustaine sat up, took notice, changed the spelling a little bit. He took the A out of death, so it became Megadeth, D-E-T-H, and voila, Megadeth was born. And
voila.
Voila.
Not a ta-da, but a voila.
A voila.
Yeah. It's not a Steely Dan.
No, one goes from one extreme to the other. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
That's right. So, and then my last one, which I got a little story about this that Tom reminded me of, but Jethro Tull, which is another band with a unique sound.
Yeah, the heavy metal.
Well, I mean, they got flute. They got his voice is unique, and it's just an interesting way to look at rock, I guess. So anyway, Jethro Tull. There was actually never a band member named Jethro Tull, which you guys probably already knew that, but it wasn't. It wasn't even the idea of anybody in the band, but instead was given to them by a member of the booking agency. And then by the time the group realized that this booking agent had given them this name, it was too late to change it. Jethro Tull was actually a historical agriculturalist that had absolutely nothing to do with the band's blues and folk influenced brand of rock.
That's one of those accidental names.
All right, boys, we gotta go get a name. Let's go on the streets. What's your name? Frank Smith. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Frank Smith.
So it does make me wonder if the booking agent hadn't been studied like to study old time agriculture or something, because where else would you come up with that?
True.
His name, but so anyway,
here's our next song. Weed.
Yeah, fertilizer. Anyway, manure.
All right.
Anyway, so the little short story that goes along with this had to do with what Tom reminded me of. Was I went to a Jethro Tull concert down in Cincinnati, and he got on stage, and he was an excellent showman too. And he got on stage, and of course he was playing the audience, and they started playing Locomotive Breath, like a very recognizable tune for even people that aren't fan members, because they've used it in commercials and everything else. But as soon as he started playing it, the crowd went crazy, just like Tom was saying with Peter Frampton. They stood up and started screaming, yeah, and he stopped. The band stopped playing, and he looked around at everybody. How'd you guys know we was going to play Stairway to Heaven?
That's good.
And then everybody got a good chuckle, and he went ahead with the song. So that was a really good concert. So, and I believe that is all. I had Molly Hatchet, like I said, but the same story that Tom came up with. So that's all I got.
Have you ever heard? I know it's a different song, but I like Jethro Tull a lot, and I love the uniqueness. I mentioned, the heavy metal band. Remember when they won in the whatever awards, heavy metal band of the year, and it was like, what?
Yeah, something like that. And it was like the first year, wasn't it? Was it like the first year they had it?
I don't. To be honest, I don't know, but I just remember thinking, who are the judges or whatever? It's like, do you even listen to them?
Right? Yeah. Well, that's exactly what I thought. I don't really consider them heavy metal per se. But.
No,
I actually do have on album Passion Play, where it's one side. It's like, wow, pretty good stuff though. But anyway,
all right.
But
moving on. Did somebody have Led Zeppelin?
I thought Tom's. No. You said you had.
I was talking about Dave Grohl and Taylor Hawkins playing with Jimmy
thought somebody
Page.
had Led Zeppelin.
Well, when we talked before, he said he didn't have it, so you said you'd go ahead and do it. I believe.
All right,
That's a great story. So
I mean, we got three minds. We might.
Yeah. By the way, B-Dub, where'd you come up with your name? I'm teasing you.
Well,
B-Dub's a big fan.
Story
Rips
millions
fan.
of times. Yeah. Actually, it did. The term B-Dub came out before B-Dubs even came out or was a thing.
Oh, really?
So,
that is interesting.
Yeah. Well, if people want to hear this story, I'll go ahead and share it. It actually, my nickname didn't actually.
Okay, moving on. I'm kidding.
This kind of gets into the segment we're going into, which is accidental names, because it actually kind of was, I guess you could say, accidental. So in fifth grade, my fifth grade math teacher started calling me Wags, because he was a big Wags and Elliott fan, from QFM 96. Mm-hmm. So it kind of caught on from there, and people were calling me Wags for a couple years, and then all of a sudden, I don't even know how this changed, but everybody started calling me BW. They just took my initials and went BW. And then they cut the W part off and it just became B-Dub, and I've been B-Dub ever since. Of course, it's changed over the years because people I've worked with are called me B-Dizzle. It's they've been becoming unique, but B-Dub is pretty much, I've used it, as a nickname. I've used it as an on-air talent name. I've used it, all across my whole life. So B-Dub is definitely that's how that came to be. So it didn't start off as B-Dub. So it's just like a lot of these bands where they have a completely different name, and it just slowly turns into the name that we call them today. So. Mm-hmm. Which, like I said, kind of gets into our accidental names. And the first one I'm actually going to talk about is Led Zeppelin. And you guys can help me out with this if you want. What I have in mind is the Who's Keith Moon and John Entwistle. I know I'm saying the name.
Entwistle. That's pretty good. That's pretty close.
Joined Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones on the Jeff Beck single, Beck's Bolero, in the summer of 1966, leading to studio chatter about the prospect of forming a new group. Moon, or perhaps Entwistle, joked that it would go over like a lead balloon. While trying to come up with a name for a new group featuring Jones, John Bonham, and Robert Plant 2 years later, Page remembered what was said, and they became Led Zeppelin. And I actually did a video on this, on the pronunciation or the spelling of the name, because since they are in the UK, they thought the way it was originally spelled that people here in America would mispronounce it. So it wasn't LED. I think it was LEAD. But they thought people would call it lead instead of lead.
Well, that is how lead is spelled in America, by the way. So
LEAD. Yeah, that's how it is spelled in America. Yeah, but that's what it is, because since we say both of them, but they're spelled differently.
LED was much cooler anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a hard of hearing leopard.
Okay. So,
Beef leopard.
You guys have anything to add to those?
With that said, B-Dub, I had read Peter Grant, Led Zeppelin's manager or whatever.
Manager, yes.
It had said we're going to drop the A because of what you just said, mispronunciation, they didn't want that. And then adding to it, and I tie in whatever. I'd heard, of course, Jimmy Page played with the Yardbirds.
Yeah, the original.
And then wanting to start a new band, calling it the New Yardbirds.
Yeah, actually, that was further down on my.
And then it was said, that'll go down like a Led Zeppelin, is what I had heard. It's so similar. You know what I mean? It's just so tied in.
I mean,
it's just interesting how, maybe we should, could you imagine? I really like that name, but maybe we shouldn't, Yeah.
So,
Interesting story, though. Great story. I mean, look what they went on to do.
Exactly. Well, Another one I have is Green Day, which is truthfully California slang for spending a day smoking marijuana.
I did not know that.
We already talked about the Foo Fighters. Blink 182. The Blink was thought up by Tom DeLonge when the band consists of DeLonge, Mark Hoppus, and their friend Scott Raynor.
Didn't Martin Short play with them for a little bit?
Probably.
DeLonge and Short.
That'd be good. That's a good duo right there.
They previously called themselves Duct Tape, DUCK. An Irish band was already using the name Blink, so they added a random number to the end. And
just picked one out.
Well, it's been debated where they got the 182. They said it's been debated for years, so it's hard to say. Now, another one I have, and I guess I kind of would put this in the accidental name, is Simply Red. Mick Hucknall, the lead singer, was he was singing one night at a nightclub where he was working as a disc jockey. When the manager asked how he wanted to be billed, he replied, "Just Red." A nickname given to him as a child because of his bright red hair. And the manager asked him, "What was that?" And he said, "Simply Red." And the rest is history. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, real. That's, for a short story especially. That was pretty cool.
So which accidental band name that, it could be one we talked about so far or one we have, became the most iconic, do you think?
Now, which what?
That's kind of a hard question, I think, just because.
Oh, I know it is. But can you
what is considered accidental?
Well, some of the ones I just gave you.
Oh, of all them, I'm going to have to say Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
I would agree.
And do you think bands should rename themselves after becoming famous? I would say no.
No, that would be dumb. You'd say, well, what?
I mean,
it's just like anybody, reference, like B-Dub. You go, you're more recognized through that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're called by your full real name, another like work or whatever.
Yeah.
Paycheck is going to say, but in common everyday relationships or whatever, you're more referenced or remembered as. So I think that's why, bands want to really get. Oh, I remember when we did Therapy for the Mind. We didn't come up with that show name right away, I don't think.
No.
It was like, what can we call it? Well, because you want it to stand out kind of thing or be memorable or found easier on Google. Well, it's like for me, Tom or Thomas, my full name, formal name, I should say. But of late, I like going by Tommy.
Yeah.
Based on doing our show with, you two guys and that kind of thing. So it's.
Well, I mean, Dr. Lib, we know how he came up with that name. So
we did the Mad Lib.
Not because I'm a liberal, even though I might be.
Dr. Lib and Nurse Conserve.
Moving on, some band names have strange inspirations. First one I have is the Beatles. This name was inspired by Buddy Holly, whose backing group was called the Crickets. All four Beatles were big fans of him, of course. Their early shows often featured his music, and Paul McCartney later purchased the publishing rights to Holly's songs. However, the only ever recorded one Buddy Holly tune together, Words of Love, for the 1964 Beatles for sale.
Huh.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you mentioned Buddy Holly. I know a few. Could you imagine? I mean, he was huge.
Yeah.
What a talent. And I think that Don McLean captured it so well in American Pie, because of the fact that Buddy Holly, I mean, obviously, based on what you just said, I wouldn't say maybe he inspired the Beatles or just they looked up to him or followed him. That
means
a lot.
Fans, so, yeah.
You know, based on looking at the
It was more inspired by the Crickets than it was actually Buddy Holly himself. It was actually inspired. That's what it says. Inspired by Buddy Holly's band, the Crickets. So
well, I know we're talking names and stuff like that, but even just the music and
exactly
that kind of thing. I didn't mean. I'm not.
No, you're fine.
Interrupt you. Sorry.
Next one I have.
I haven't taken my meds today.
Okay. Next one is Radiohead. Now they were originally known as On a Friday. The band was given 2 weeks after they signed their record deal to change their name. The band renamed themselves after the 1986 Talking Heads song Radiohead on the album True Stories, claiming it was the least annoying song on the album.
Oh. Wow, that's high praise.
Yes, it was. Next one was Pearl Jam, which we already talked about. Go ahead, Tom.
What was that last band you said?
Radiohead?
Radiohead.
Yeah.
They were first known as On a Friday.
On a Friday, yes.
Okay, so this may be the real story why they change it to Radiohead. Because if you condense, like the average white band, condense it to AWB.
Yeah.
On a Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, oof.
That's funny.
I'm sorry, I just came up with. Okay,
yes, you
do
did.
that one again.
We know you just came up with it.
Sorry.
Last one.
Medic.
Last one for this part is Korn. Now, the band had considered and rejected Korn, CORN, and proposed spelling with a K instead. When they designed the logo, which offsets what they all agreed with the silliness of the name by styling it with a backwards R, an idea taken from the Toys R Us logo.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's cool. That's cool.
Or if you're a wee smart person, that would be Weeby Toys.
Weeby Toys. But getting to a couple questions, yes.
If I may share a story. Okay. When I first started in radio, I went by Tommy K. And then at some point I took on a job and I'm like, I want to sound a little more professional in my name. Tommy K sounds
Thomas K?
No. TK James was the name I thought of. James after my brother. Jim, and so that's what I'm like. I like the ring to it. Your name has to have a good ring, in my opinion. So I go to the station, and the guy that was on before me, the DJ on before me, on the clock, if you will, went by LD Pierce.
Yeah.
There was a 4-hour time frame between live on air. It was the syndicated show we played, Saturday Night Fever with Redbeard. And so anyway, my first night, I go in and met LD, and he's like, oh, here's a note from the program director. And it said, I feel like we have too many initials on the air. So instead of going by TK James, just go by Tommy James. Tommy James and the Shondells were in the playlist. There was no way I would ever play Tommy James and the Shondells. But could you imagine coming out of a song? Yeah, Tommy James and the Shondells. My band. This is Tommy James with you. I was just like, so my point is, having a name, there's a lot of meaning behind it. Depending on what you're doing. I'm not saying to fake your name or whatever, but stage name, having a stage name, which what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, no. I always love though the joke about could you imagine doing the world tour with Asia and Europe?
No,
the two bands and America, the world world tour. Anyway, I need to get.
All right, a couple
medicated.
questions from the last ones that were given.
Weed.
Would these bands have been as successful with different names? Again, this kind of goes back to the question we had during the last one. Maybe not, but I think being known at what they are now, I mean, they were successful as it was. And again, the bands that I gave you were Korn, Pearl Jam, Radiohead, and the Beatles.
Yes, they would be successful because of their talent and everything else. And it's like Tom, they're wanting to find a name that people will remember, but they could have found another name that people remember, and they still would have been a good band.
Ladies and gentlemen, formerly known as Corn, it's asparagus.
I mean, obviously, I mean,
corn on the
they didn't
cob.
have to be calling itself corn first. I just meant if they would have called themselves soybean or something.
They would have all they would have done is Farm Aid shows.
Corn husk.
They could have turned the B backwards.
There you go. So, which of these names do you think sounds the coolest without knowing the story? Now, even though we know the stories.
It's hard to not put the band, but I
know.
I really like the name Pearl Jam.
Yeah, makes sense.
Led Zeppelin's cool too, but
and there too. What is the album cover of Zeppelin's first album? The Blimp.
The Blimp.
Going down like a Led Zeppelin. Because Zeppelins were used in World War II. Is that correct?
Well, they were used before that and after
primarily, but they were well known in the
platforms.
War. Yeah. But I just think that's a cool name. Anytime when there's a change in the spelling kind of thing, Led Zeppelin or the Beatles, others, Korn, is unique. I don't know.
I do have a little thing because I couldn't stand it, so I had to look it up. How Conway Twitty got his name, and apparently, and this is from his.
I'm sorry,
except for the very first part, he must have called Bay City Rulers because he was trying to come up with a name. He was sitting in a hotel, had a map, pointed at it twice, came up with Conway, Arkansas, and Twitty, Texas.
Are you serious?
That's how I got his name.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious!
I wonder how a lot of these band names actually got their name. Especially when when you don't think it comes from a town,
right,
on a map. I mean,
exactly.
Could you imagine?
It's like throwing darts at a dartboard.
Jim Morrison and the Doors. Okay, guys, we got to come up with a song title for this one. Close your eyes. Boise Boys? No!
Boise
LA Woman!
Oh, boy.
Anyways, all right. Since we're getting a good laugh out of this, let's move on to some funny band names or how they came to be. The first one is Hoobastank.
Yeah.
We were already laughing.
Want to know.
No, okay. It was derived from a street where Doug Rob's brother, who was the vice president of BMW Motorcycles, lived in Germany. It's called Huba Street, or something like that is what they're saying.
Does it not smell good or something?
I guess not. Members still joke about where it came from. Various stories exist, none completely confirmed.
Waste Management is on a delayed schedule on that street.
Yes. Next one is Goo Goo Dolls. It was picked from a toy advertisement in a magazine.
No way.
Yeah.
How funny.
That's cool.
Limp Bizkit was just chosen because it sounded ridiculous. The last one for this one, Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
It was named after a fictional band mentioned in a comedy sketch by Monty Python.
Huh.
In Eric Idle's monologue, Rock Notes, heard on one of Monty Python's albums, a journalist reported that Rex Stardust, lead electric triangle with Toad the Wet Sprocket, has had to have a elbow removed following their recent successful worldwide tour of Finland. And that's how they came up with Toe the Wet Sprocket. So,
electric triangle.
So,
like something my mom would come up with.
Moving on to a couple more questions. What's the worst band name that became famous? I'd say probably Limp Bizkit, truthfully.
In my opinion, hard question as well, because you may hear of a band name and that doesn't sound very appealing. But then you hear their music and it's like, oh, okay. And then so the association builds up to where, so it's like, I guess you would really have to look back in your memory banks on when you first heard of a band name to think, going back to Led Zeppelin. Keith Moon and John Entwistle both are like, oh, that'll go down like a Led Zeppelin. They obviously were basing that on the name, their comment. And look what happened with Led Zeppelin, I jokingly say it's my top 5 bands: Rush, Pink Floyd, The Who, U2, and REM. Why is Led Zeppelin not in there? I consider Led Zeppelin in that list, but it's like they're just out there.
They're honorable mention.
It's like it's not even. It's more than honorable mention. It's like I think of Led Zeppelin, and again, just me, like Jerry Maguire movie when Cuba Gooding's like, Jerry Maguire, you are the master of qua. What is qua? But it was like something so meaningful, blah, blah, blah. That's what I look at Led Zeppelin as when it comes to music for me.
Yeah.
So what was the question again?
The question is, what's the worst band name that became famous? And to follow up on that, does a bad name make a band more memorable?
I think Pink Floyd would count as maybe a worse name because, even in their, they make fun of it a little bit, even in their own song, which one's Pink kind of thing. And like Floyd's a dude, Pink is obviously a girly caller. So you could probably consider that.
Oh, I actually have their story coming up. In our probably in our next one.
After the commercial break.
Well, no,
after the 2-week commercial break.
No, because I have it on my end. I have it set up by certain, like I've been saying, the accidental names, the funny ones. The next one we're doing are the dark and mysterious names. So trust me.
Awesome.
There is a pattern to why I'm doing it this way.
Okay.
So.
You're the master of qua.
I'm the master of qua.
So, Gary, when you say it, you do have to go like this. Okay.
I did. You just can't see my arms.
All right. So,
what are they holding your Limp Bizkit?
I got my claw camouflaged.
So, as I pointed out, the next ones were the dark and mysterious ones. First one is Black Sabbath. And I know Tommy K had. I think was it Tommy K you had it on your list.
Mm-hmm.
So originally known as the Earth Blues Company, they later shortened it to Earth, then discarded that name altogether because another band was already using it. They settled on Black Sabbath after attaching the title, which had earlier been used for a 1963 film, to a spooky new song inspired by the apparatus seen by bassist Geezer Butler. Does that make sense?
I don't know what apparatus.
Weezer. There's one.
There's one too, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was based on the lead singer was always coughing or whatever, wheezing.
Wheezing.
And so they came up with Weezer, I believe.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Here's an interesting one that a lot of people probably, a lot of people do if you're into classical, rock and roll. Alice Cooper was originally a band name and not the, as we go by today, the name of the singer himself. It was selected as a replacement since the Nas band already was taken by Todd Rundgren. I knew I was going to say that. Thank you. I knew I was going to mess it up, so I apologize. The fictional Alice was envisioned as a demented, possibly
homosexual?
No, not homosexual. Homicidal elderly woman, and the singer played the part on stage as well. That he ultimately became more associated with the name than the band did. So,
that's interesting.
Yeah. Next one is Iron Maiden, which was formed on Christmas Day in 1975. Steve Harris attributes the band's name to a film adaptation of The Man in the Iron Mask because of the medieval torture device. Yes.
Go. I just let you know I wanted to ask a question when you're done. I'm sorry.
Judas Priest, early member. Yes.
Iron Maiden. That's what it was related to. Their skeleton, Eddie. Do you know where that name came from?
No.
Out of curiosity, I didn't know if it was in the story. But that's what
I didn't say.
Didn't they call him Eddie? Their skeleton on all their albums, and they'd have him out.
So.
Just interested.
Yeah.
Judas Priest.
Judas Priest. Their name was taken from the song "The Ballad of Frankie Lee and Judas Priest" by Bob Dylan.
Huh.
Hey.
It's very interesting.
There's an interesting. Bob Dylan, his real name is Robert Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Could you?
Yeah.
Maybe Robert Zimmerman would not fit on the marquee, so he
probably not
to Bob Dylan. I don't know. But that's interesting. Yeah, the tie-in. Where's that stem from?
Yeah. So you think like the darker names, do they fit heavier music? Do they fit like the heavy metal, genre more than they would anywhere else?
Yeah, that's probably on purpose too. So
yeah,
I mean,
it's interesting. You have categories, if you will. Sometimes I think. Well, when we did Therapy for the Mind, the National Day of. All the different holidays, like, what? Are you serious? There's a national, favorite pea eating day.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Kind of thing. But, so, when it comes to rock genres, sometimes I think it gets a little overboard on breaking down or separating, we need to move it. Like when we talked about Jethro Tull, being...
Yeah.
Heavy metal artist of the year back whenever. It's like, what? Where do they come up with that kind of thing? The division, I guess, sometimes gets a little overboard,
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going with this.
Is there a metal band that you think has the coolest name ever?
Blue Oyster Cult.
Okay.
I'm a big AC/DC fan, so I would say that's a good one.
Okay.
That's not dark. That's when you turn lights on.
Where'd you come up with that name? Oh, I had to pay my electric bill because I forgot. AC/DC.
All right. Next set of bands. First one is Nirvana, which was mentioned earlier, chosen because it sounded peaceful and beautiful.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Yes. REM, Michael Stipe, randomly picked this out of the dictionary. Of course, the term refers to the rapid eye movement phases of sleep. However, he says that it's not the reason why the band is named REM.
He just picked it out of the dictionary. Wow.
Like if you randomly pick it out of the dictionary, I mean, that's the first thing you think of.
Well, now we're all disillusioned.
Yes. Kiss. First, they wanted something simple and powerful, but they started out calling themselves Wicked Lester before determining that they needed something that seemed a little more ready for prime time. When Peter Criss brought up the fact that he had previously played in a band called Lips, Paul Stanley chimed in with a name that would accompany him and his partners to superstardom. Tommy K brought up U2. AC/DC. You mentioned them. The Young Brothers have their sister Margaret to thank for their famous band name. She suggested it to the duo after seeing the letters AC/DC, meaning that a device could be powered by either alternative or direct current on a vacuum cleaner or sewing machine, depending on who is telling the story.
Oh, I will say they're an interesting story because Angus and Malcolm, their older brother, was in the Easy Beats '60s pop band, and then they went on to do heavy metal, kind of thing. Yeah. I will say this about AC/DC. I think they are again, just my own personal observation or opinion, whatever, the best example of a crossover or change in vocalist to where it still has that same sound. Bon Scott into Brian Johnson.
Yep.
Yeah, you can tell the distinction between them, but still carry the same of their sound. I mean, Van Halen, after David Lee Roth, they went to Sammy Hagar and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I'm not saying Sammy Hagar was a bad choice. No, it was different is all I'm saying. With AC/DC in that history, I have always felt like that was such a great segue.
Yeah.
From, and still kept the same persona, same whatever. That's all.
All right.
I do think it was so unique that Bon Scott played bagpipes.
Yeah.
In their video. Now I can't think of the song.
And they're one of the few bands that they actually could put bagpipes in their songs, and it sounds cool.
Yeah, heavy metal bags.
Yes. Next band I have is The Doors. This was inspired by the book The Doors of Perception. This one took a winding path into the rock canon. Poet William Blake's 18th century post-French revolutionary book, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell, initially inspired Aldous Huxley to give a 1954 tome for the title of The Doors of Perception, which turned to a collection of late 60s era rockers to call their group The Doors. Next one was kind of my pick, Pink Floyd. And actually, it's not, I'm not going to say generic, but it's pretty much when you take, kind of like with Conway Twitty, but they didn't look at a map. Pink Floyd were hastily named by Syd Barrett, who just found out there was another group already using their old moniker, the T-Set, by combining the names of two bluesmen from his record collection, Pink Anderson and Floyd Council. Huh. And that's how they came up with Pink Floyd. The other two I had on this.
Did I ever tell you the running joke I did where I always wondered why Pink Floyd never got married to Molly Hatchet.
Yeah.
And then go on to say, you got to feel bad for comedians when they have to explain their joke. Pink Floyd was a rock band and Molly Hatchet was another rock band. They weren't individuals.
Yeah.
That was the...
Okay.
Okay.
Well, the other two I had on this list
was again. I'll take that.
Well, the other two I had on this list was Van Halen and Bon Jovi, which we talked about. Van Halen and Bon Jovi is pretty much obvious because of John Bon Jovi. Finishing off here, the top 10 most interesting band name origins, which we talked about: Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, Foo Fighters, AC/DC, Black Sabbath, Radiohead, Nirvana, Pink Floyd, Green Day, and finally Korn. So, finishing up here, which famous band would have been just as successful if they had kept their original name? We kind of asked this question already, but, any final thoughts on that before we get out of here?
That kept their original name?
Which famous band would have been just as successful if they had kept their original name? And it's pretty much kind of what you talked about before about going on their talent. Would it matter what what the name of their band was.
I mean, personally,
like the Beatles.
Personally, I've never been turned off because of a band's name.
Yeah,
it's like I'm not listening to them because their name, Bloody Guts or whatever, Big Farts or whatever. I'm not. It's because you're
Butthole Surfer.
You hear the music like on the radio or a friend plays it for you or what have you, and you're like, hey, that's pretty cool. Who's that band? So I don't make it uncool, but anyway, that's my opinion. And you're welcome to it.
I think your last word, Gary, opinion, is the operative word, because a band, when members get together and they form the band and the music they want to produce and the name that they want to go by, that's their opinion. Mm-hmm. And so their obvious pursuit or avenues to draw listeners or fans, and so those fans have an opinion, and so it's based on opinions, and I like that. What you said, Gary, as far as nothing. I don't not listen because of the name. It's what you like, your opinion on what you're hearing, just like eating. I've said this story, my daughter get ready to eat something and she's like, oh, I hate that. Have you tried it? No. Well, how do you know until you try it?
Well, again,
form an opinion based on data, et cetera, et cetera. So if you hear music and I don't like that, then you don't listen to it.
Yeah. Again,
no harm, no foul. It's your own.
It goes back to opinion. Yeah, you're fine. All right, finishing up here. If you enjoyed today's topic this could be something that we could do multiple shows on, which we might have to. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, follow us all across social media, and share this episode with any music-loving fan that wants to know about what are the names the bands came up with. But we'll go ahead and get out of here. Until next time, this is B-Dub along with Dr. Lib and Tom and Kay, and you've been watching the We Is Smart podcast.
Yes,
see you guys.